Think we're here. Okay. Hello, everyone here. How is everyone doing? If you're catching the replay, welcome. I'm Steve. Mark's around, and this is Smokey Steve and Marc. Welcome or welcome back, and happy Saturday. How's the weather where you are? It's legit like fall weather outside. Cold, breezy, all of it. Oh, these are so small. Okay. Mr. McPhoebe, hello. Tara, hello. Miss McPhoebe, hello. Jacob and Esther, okay. Hello. Monday. It's pretty much now like fall's over. Like all the fall leaves were out, and then we had a storm that came in and out. We had a couple come in. Just FYI with the wireless. We're gonna see what we can do with that. And it was warm. Yes, Miss McPhoebe. It was like 75 degrees. And then next week there's a little snowflake on the 10-day forecast for Scranton. So it's later this week. It's going to dip into the 30s, but yeah, I'm thinking the last bit of heat we'll get. We've had 70-degree days in November, definitely. But I also remember as a kid, it's snowing and sleeting while we were going out trick-or-treating. Coats over costumes were still going. So I'm ready for some snow. I'm ready for some snow days, some pretty landscapes. I'm not really looking forward to dangerous driving conditions, though I would rather drive in the snow than in heavy rain. Corey, how are you? Starburst, hello. Julia, hello. Yes, snow, a fair bit. It's just starting. We shall see. Kimber, what's up? So today, we are going to catch up again with our fair lady, Chantal Marie, Foodie Beauty, Big Beautiful Me, the Daily Chantal, Chantopolis, the Chantal Show, Chantal and Sala, Everyday Miriam, and Foodie Beauty again. So she's expanded her brand a little bit. Found some other places maybe she can monetize in case she gets the axe on the Foodie Beauty channel. So 2011, we had a huge blizzard. 2011 had shitty weather. So checking in last week, we were live. And we talked about how she was still sick, again, to get out of the activities from the prior week. She went for a Kuwait grocery haul for diabetics, apparently, for how much shit she bought. Community post rants, and then there were also more community post rants that went on today. And let's see, Chantal was cooking. The idea of the cooking channel, the 5-10 days it took her to edit it, and then she farted out something she could have done in like 45 minutes. So it was all tease you with content kind of thing. And her food looked okay. It doesn't look like it'll make you sick. It might not taste great, but it doesn't look like it'll make you sick. So this week, we're going to touch on a few topics. Julia, the kitty cat. Where'd the kitty cat come from? What kind of health is the kitty cat in? What kind of health and veterinary care is the cat getting? And what does it say about Chantal? Okay. Let's see. Eating takeout for a family and how that's not a binge. We're going to explore briefly some solid definitions of binge and binge eating disorder, just to put them both out there. Got them from reputable source, and we'll just go through those, and then I guess we can all draw our own conclusions. But I wanted to combat misinformation with information. So we'll talk about bid a little bit. How the whole thing with her doing the mukbangs on camera, it's not about freedom. It's not about freedom and her having the freeness to do this. It's about money. She cares that she would get demonetized. Do you think she's going to die on a hill of eating videos on film if she wasn't getting paid for it? No, she'd go find something else to do. So she was sharing some political and religious thoughts, and then on the heels of that was talking about boycotts. She's not really built for boycotts, but not using products or patronizing services that don't follow along with beliefs that she shares. So it's pretty much everything we've ever seen her eat or do or record is by an organization that she's got an issue with, I guess. So her last fast food meal, it's a last fast food meal again, but even that, a couple days later, she still ate some more. Ads like crazy, sit and stare at the camera. It would be as interesting, probably. Ads like crazy, and Chantal assuming that she's entitled to be on YouTube, and that the money she's not getting or going to be getting is somehow owed to her for some work rendered. There's like 5 things wrong with what I just said. It's a lot. Keep eating if you're passionate about it, even without ads. And then she was in the community post doing these ridiculous long diatribes because she's so happy. So happy. That's what happens when there's nothing to eat and he's not home. And she's got to feed on something, so she eats her anger and spits it back at everybody on her community post. And she's going to be apparently a working girl, allegedly. That's about as true as anything else. That she would have some sort of business that would take her out of the hotel room or the apartment floor and have her go somewhere else. So, private company. Terms of service, we could save the whole video. Terms of service is written so that any one of us at any time for any or no reason can have our channels pulled with no recourse. I mean, they'll let you click a button to file an appeal. I mean, you can go through that process, but none of us are, and the rules and things change sometimes. They're not always going to be the same over time, hence like the new adjustment about eating disorder behaviors and things like that, and putting people like Chantal or Eugenia Cooney on blast for, you're not teaching people eating disorder behaviors, but you're demonstrating them. And so that's which is weird because you can react to that because I'm not actually doing it. So I can talk about this stuff, but that's cool. That's cool. So going back, Julia the cat, who was left for about 6 weeks in the care of who knows who while they were in Thailand looking at other animals that they don't take care of. We were told that when she got Julia, that Julia was from a family, friend of a family, family friend, somewhere in that vein, or whatnot, and that Julia had her vaccinations and everything. There's receipts on this. You can find them easily. And even if you didn't, of course you would lie. Is it just another street cat? Is it just a street cat she picked up? And what was her reason for doing it? Did she want a kitty to love? Or did she want to troll everybody with a cat? So it comes out that from Chantal that, how can I put this diplomatically? She lied. Okay, when she came back, she had said the pet that Julia, no vaccinations, not spayed, like nothing. So all this information she was apparently going to have to give us nothing. She was mumbling her way through explaining where she got the cat and tried to be like, he's so cute, so cute, so cute. Cute, sure. But not only did it have some concerns, it needed to go to the vet. 6 weeks later, it was being addressed because Selfish has to go out there and leave a pet wherever she wanted. Oh no, she didn't lie. You're right. She changed her mind. I think YouTube changed their mind. They can do that though. So Oscar was a feral yard cat that we have. I mean, let me line things up with no better, no worse, just whatever. Mark and I were living over in another part of town for years, and Oscar found his way up into the yard. And for 2 years, winter, summer, he would come hang out with Mark when he was gardening, just there. And we built a little thing for him on the porch. Now, we took him in because we weakened his ability to look after himself. And he was then relying on us for food and for a bit of shelter. So we took him with us. We did. Now, when we got Oscar, though, his ear was clipped. So he had been, like, trap released, I guess. And we took him with us. But we took him to the vet, like, first. Like, we want to make sure he was okay. And he still has to go back. He has some, like, they're both due for shots again, I think. They just went not too long ago. Mark does most of the vet stuff. I help him get the cats in the carriers and then carry them out. So, modest Miriam would never lie. Texas that gets cats from Kuwait. How about that? How about that? So, now, I can understand also she had said that there could be like an operation, something she'd have to pay for, and she wasn't sure about the money for that. I gotta say, okay, so when we were going to adopt Bandit, I have cats of my own, I love cats, and it annoys me. I don't care if she makes a nickel off of them, but don't exploit them doing it. If people want to give you $20 because you keep cats in the background, fine, but don't shove it all over your food, lie about the state of it. You just reaffirm for everyone that all you think it is a prop. She didn't, Jamie. She didn't. Change her mind. Change her mind. So when we went to go to the place to get Bandit, the first kitty we got, Big Maine Coon, he's the one who's in the videos usually more. Oscar kind of stays on his own. We got him, we went to animal shelter, and he was in the special needs section because they had identified he was diagnosed with FIV, so he was segregated from the other cats. And I thought, well, special cats need the most love. There was another cat I had had my eye on, but a hard decision. He was cute. His name was Goliath. He was like muffin topped over the sides of the little litter pan. Like he was so big. And one like half closed eye. He was very, very, very cute. However, he had feline diabetes and would probably have needed regular medical care, as anyone with diabetes would, animal, human, whatever. And that might be coming in at a cost that we can't immediately pull up. Now, we've got our boys covered. You know, we have a good vet and we like the vet we go to. But I didn't think it was okay to take on an animal that would probably need more care and attention than a person who's never had a cat before had. But also the cost of it. And it's not fair to take on a cat I can't think. I hate when I see people put on like GoFundMe that they need to collect money to take their dog to the vet. If you can't afford the vet, you can't afford the pet. And we wouldn't have been able to probably take care of the needs that Goliath would have had. So he stayed. I hope he got adopted. I think it's a no-kill shelter. So I get it. I love animals too, but I can't just get one because I want one because I can have one, treat it like garbage and tell everyone, well, it's none of your business. None of your business. So, at any rate. So, eating out. So she did a video, eating takeout for a family of 5. Not eating out, excuse me. Takeout for a family of 5. It was Chinese food. A couple entrees, this and that. Now, what the running thing has been is that Chantal was insisting she is not binging on camera. She's saying she does it off camera. She says she does have the concern of bed, but she engages in it off camera. It never makes it in front of the camera, and therefore she's not monetizing whatever. So Chantal is also under the illusion, Erica, hello. I see a few other folks. How you doing? It tries to create the illusion that nothing's bad going on. Well, I do, but just not here. That's not what this is. Because on my new drinking channel, what I'm going to do is drink myself insane off camera. And then when I come on, just have a few little nips of this or that to prove to everyone that I don't have to whatever. And then what I do offline is my own business. Jesus. So going for something a little more... I was doing some research because I like research and I like mental health concerns and things like that. And I have to say, if anyone's new, welcome. I am a peer specialist by trade, so I have a mental health diagnosis of myself, 3 actually, and I'm in some stage of remission with all of them or in recovery. But what was I recovering from? What are the criteria? As it so happens, the National Institute of Health here, Library of Medicine, National Center for Biotechnology Information, they just happen to have the DSM criteria for binge eating disorder. And it's not vague. And it's not decided by the individual with the affliction. Criteria 1, recurrent episodes of binge eating. So let's just talk about what is she doing on camera. If she's not binging on camera, what is she doing? She's leaving a few bites now, like that's going to trick anybody. So what does it do? Well, recurrent episode of binge eating is characterized by both of the following. Eating in a discrete period of time, example within any 2-hour period, an amount of food that is definitely larger than most people would eat in a similar period of time under similar circumstances. Check. 2, a sense of lack of control over eating during the episode, examples feeling one cannot stop eating, control what they are eating, or how much. So there we have criteria 1. Criteria 2, which you only need 3 of. Binge eating episodes are associated with 3 or more of the following. Eating much more rapidly than normal. Check. Eating until feeling uncomfortably full. Check. Eats large amounts of food when not feeling physically hungry. Eating alone because of being embarrassed by how much one is eating. Maybe she did do that with the pizza boxes. Who knows? Feeling disgusted with oneself, depressed, or very guilty after overeating. Luckily, you only need 3 because that last one, E, she doesn't give a shit. The only thing that breaks the diagnosis for her is that there's no degree of impairment. She doesn't feel bad about what she's doing, and she doesn't beat herself up for it. So the component of, not shame is, you can't shame someone well, but that component of it isn't there for her. She doesn't feel guilty. If she does, she doesn't say anything. Criteria 3, marked distress after binge eating is present. She does go into excuse mode after she gets the binge done. this was a good deal, and, I only ate half, and, I picked at the cheese, and, I'm drinking filtered water, cucumber, and lemon for the rest of the day. Okay. Frequency. Binge eating occurs on average at least 2 days a week for 6 months, per the DSM-4, or B, at least 1 day a week for 3 months. That's a pretty wide window. Criteria 5, binge eating is not associated with the regular use of inappropriate compensatory behaviors such as purging, fasting, excess exercise, and does not occur exclusively during the course of other eating disorders. DSM-4 doesn't include this grading scale. The severity scale goes from 1 to 14. 1 to 3 times a week. 1 to 3 times a week is considered mild. 4 to 7 episodes a week, which is probably closer, would be moderate. 8 to 13, severe, and 14 plus would be extreme. And again, binge eating disorder comes from the Diagnostical and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, version 5. So, knowing all that, when we're talking about the actual what she is doing on camera, because she admits to having it, and she's doing it off camera, well, obviously. So, how do you find a good therapist for bed? You have to look. It's a relatively new diagnosis. It's not a new behavior. People have been doing it for years. But as far as it being an actual diagnosis that your insurance will reimburse if you get treatment for it. But again, it's a new thing to have to implement that. So I would probably check out on your own. I would ask friends. Honestly, if you have a friend who has lost some weight and they're looking for some direction, a therapist is the best place for, I think, for me, it was the head work. And then I actually did go to a nutritionist too, who was, I know, some places are a treatment desert. There's nothing there. It's like when I would go into Philly and I'm in the middle of a neighborhood. I'm like, there's not a supermarket for 20 blocks in any direction. That's a food desert. So she binges and overeats all day. She waits till he's asleep. She waits till this. And I don't know. Sometimes people self-destruct, and the idea of it is that I want someone to come save me from myself. I want someone to come rescue me from myself. And Sala's not sweeping in and doing any of that. He came in with a few salads. Maybe he made a trip to Panera. But beyond that, he probably didn't want to put up with her. So, whether she would benefit from therapy and whether she would go are two different things. One could argue she wouldn't do very well in therapy because she lacks a lot of insight. And her emotional responses to things don't seem to be authentic. Like she's bad acting on camera. So, at any rate, the individual with the affliction does not get to decide what the size of the binge is. It is not measurable by that. The criteria is not measurable by that. Large amount, short period of time, feelings of discomfort, eating when not hungry, doing it at least once a week, if not 2 times a week. I mean, she falls right into all of that. But what part of that falls on camera is that she disagrees with the definition of how much food would be a binge. I mean, she would insist she ate a wheelbarrow full of paneer, probably, off camera, but I didn't do it here. You can barely tell. I barely eat anything, can't you see? She killed me with a domestic goddess thing, doing her wifely duties. She didn't do duties for herself. She's not going to do it for him. She didn't do it on her own. She was living in that filthy, filthy white apartment. Years of dysfunction. I'm sure it looked like someone delivered a baby on the floor in her room for how dirty the carpets were. And she left Pete's and his aromas lingering down the hall. So she only cares about this much. Nothing. What you see, what you know, and then everything else goes offline, Domestic goddess, that's what? Roseanne Barr. Similar. I thought had coined, in one of her stand-ups back in the day, she coined, or had said, domestic goddess, as opposed to wifely duties. I don't think she does them. I think she lets it all pile up while he's not there, and then the day she knows he's coming, she cleans. The hands and knees of a Tova, hello. Binging can be done in secret, but it doesn't have to be done in secret for it to be considered a binge. It has to do with the volume of food, how long it takes to eat it, and the feeling of the person eating it. Are they even hungry or not? And when she comes on and says her words, for a family. Okay, so if it's not just for one person, how big's a family? At least 2, maybe 3. So we're talking about triple what a normal amount of food would be. And it's not clicking. It's not about you putting it up. It's that they don't want you making money off of it. And you have this insistence that you should be allowed to. You should be able to take advantage of every little thing to help you make money. And if they don't want you to make money, it's because you're fat, because fat people can't eat what they want on the internet. She always tries to rile up a big-ass chubby gang in her community posts. And you know what? 190 people hit the thumbs up out of 95,000 possible subscribers. So who's more popular than who? I don't know. A lot of people watch Chantal, but what are they watching for? You know, if she goes through and edits her own comments, and she goes through and turns off, you know, thumbs up, thumbs down, because she really doesn't care what anyone thinks. She doesn't want it to look bad that most of her current viewers don't like her. So when she's trying to hustle new people to come in, it's right. YouTube is a privilege. Thank you. She can't, that's like demanding being allowed to drive, but you don't drive well. And your license had been taken before. Well, I'm entitled. No, you're not. No, you're not. A private company doesn't owe you shit. They gotta send you the 1099. That's about it. Fairly, it's weaponized incompetence. Seeing that? Yeah, incompetence. I had to put myself over the candle so I could read the text because it was coming in short. So, eating out, and it's not about freedom. It's about food. Family pack 3 to 4 portions. Yeah. But well, what does she eat? Food for 15 off camera? I mean, how ridiculous does she want to be? This pile of food was a sale. So a sale isn't a binge either, because I got 2 burgers because one was free. Okay? Fine. Drink poison and think everyone else is going to die from it. Go ahead. See if that works. So, oh yeah, I had written, who the F do you think you are? With demanding that YouTube not only platform you, but allow people to pay you for something that they're not okay with anymore. Things change. Norms change. Social things change. Ideas about bullying, ideas about selling illness, you know, 5 ads at a time in a 15-minute video. Like, so, whatever. The only person who's ever, like, people don't cross her, as she says. You know, make your videos, but you won't. You can't be demanded to do them, and don't ever cross her. Don't ever disagree with her. The one who did was Natter, and he ended up with charges filed against them, which were later dropped, which lends credibility to the charges to begin with. So she's not unfamiliar with doing that. I'm not a pillar of virtue. Before we decide that Steve is taking a superior route toward Chantal, I'm no pillar of virtue, but I'm not confused about the unkind things I do, or that I have a propensity to do. I certainly don't decide that some of my most serious illnesses should be profited off of on camera. If you guys knew, if I told you guys, I relapsed. I've been drinking every day. Not on camera, though. So this 1 drink or 2 drinks here isn't part of that. That's not part of my addiction. Just because it's the same substance and I'm eating it in front doesn't mean anything. Wake up! Wake up, Chantal. So, boycotts. She was boycotting because now she has, well, she doesn't have political and religious positions as much as she hits share on probably anything on Sala's thing. She doesn't know fuck about anything. So as long as she doesn't spread misinformation, I don't care. It's her right to be ignorant and to, you know, play dumb and doesn't even know what she's co-signing or that she's speaking out against. So part of boycotting was good. She eats a lot of corporate foods, all the fast food, all those. Google. So it's going to be selective. What starts out as a big blanket statement about, she wouldn't boycott for any reason. Certainly not a food she wouldn't boycott. But it's selfish for her to deny. She can't deny her own cravings. What I'm getting to. She can't deny her own cravings. It's not possible. So she can't engage in stuff like that. But I think she misunderstands maybe cravings and the tie to deficits. Like there's a school of thought about food that, hey, if you're craving, what is it? Iron, you know, your body will want you to crave spinach automatically because it's a high source of iron. She's not deficient in zesty sauce. Oh, the doctor practically told me to go to Burger King and get the onion rings. It's not that. You don't need any of this shit. There's nothing life-sustaining about any of the food that she eats. It's bad for your body. It's bad for your insides. And it doesn't become better. Even if you eat less, it's still not better. But she's light years away from doing any action to take care of herself and instead doing it to piss somebody off. She lives in reflection. She thinks everyone's obsessed with her, but she makes her whole day and crafts her videos and lives and community posts around other people. Why not your husband? How about another happy picture of you two doing something? How about him waving goodbye on his way to work? Maybe something like that. I can't remember the last time I had a craving. I don't get them like that. I mean, every once you get the middle of the night, stand in the fridge and look for something with sugar in it. I mean, I do that. That's not everybody I know. But that's what I would do. And so I get it. But if I had a principle, like I'm gay, don't look shocked, okay? And often that gets politicized, which turns into which businesses would I patronize or not if they subscribe to some sort of belief, or if their mutual funds were mixed with anti-LGBTQ community, anything like that. And really the only two places I don't go are Hobby Lobby and Chick-fil-A. 2 reasons. I don't have any hobbies that take place in Hobby Lobby. Mark likes to go periodically, but we usually go to AC Moore and stuff like that. Closed on Sunday for their faith. No business closes when they're making money. No business closes when they're making money. That's some Chantal shit they were trying to pull. So, whatevs. And then Chick-fil-A has great waffle fries, but so it depends where people draw their lines. Some people are more invested in causes than others. Is it a big challenge for me to not have waffle fries? Not really. And if I crave them, other places have them. It's okay. I'm not a slave to my cravings. I'm not a particularly strong person internally when it comes to food, but I can tell myself no without it being a crisis. Like, I don't have to immediately act on every single urge that I get. When you're addicted to something, it's more likely that you do. It's more likely that you do. So, I don't know. So the boycotts, she doesn't have the integrity for, or the awareness. And she's a nightmare of consumerism, so, I mean, she's not going to get it. No cause would trump a Nashi. Can you think of any big, human, real issue that doesn't happen on YouTube that she would give up a Nashi for as a sense of a hunger fast, or sacrificing something, or not patronizing a brand she doesn't believe in because her money is going to be funneled toward causes she don't believe in? Community tab raging. Again, which I think is pretty stupid, because if she wants to get a bunch of people to watch her be a train wreck, get them to watch you being a train wreck. Put it on camera. You want to rage. You're not going to get too many people. People will go and read your community posts, but you need views, and you need some more action than just that. And if the only way to get attention is to piss people off, then that's a piss poor kind of life to have. If I can't get good attention, I'll get any attention. Little Chantal. Dear little child Chantal, I can't imagine. But, maybe she wasn't raised by wolves from the way it sounds, but there were some challenges growing up. One parent, Chantal's behaviors, another child in the house. And Chantal probably felt very mature, so mom probably said, fine, you want to date a 40-year-old? Get out! And then she slept on friends' couches because she was above it. Oh, wait, wrong show. The views have there's nothing left to do. Now, they traveled, but their travel vlogs aren't so great either. I don't know about that. Her travel vlogs aren't spectacular. They were different, and they got slightly less views. But they weren't bad. If she went and spent another, chunk of time in another country and went out and did stuff, that's fine. But it seems like they went there, to Thailand specifically, for other reasons. And in order to either make it look like a vacation or treat it as sort of like a vacation, they went to Thailand and did some fun stuff. She almost rolled a boat over, and, she had a good time out in the mark, all that kind of stuff. Then when she was done, she was done. She was not going to. So she planted herself there while he would go out live streaming so she could track him for migratory purposes. That was long before Uber Eats. She scams the Uber drivers too. When they would bring food and she'd complain they forgot something to try to get the meal for free. If you've ever worked in the restaurant business, you know that there's a customer like that. They come in, they order appetizers, salads, entrees, and dessert. And at the end, when the bill comes, they were unhappy with how the steak they ate all of came out, and they want a free meal. That's an area where I would say she's entitled, Just a little. The traveling was the ride on the plane. the rest of it was sitting there eating. Ain't nobody jealous of that. We're not slaves to fast food. We don't have to craft our life around what we think we might want to eat at any given time. Like, most of us just do us and go do our thing. And if you know you have a mental health concern that you're doing like nothing about, heard you say Chantal wouldn't do well in therapy due to lack of insight, but shouldn't therapy help give you insight? Yes, thank you for the super chat. It should, but Chantal's gonna, I think, have a challenge. Her own history of therapy that she's disclosed, that she goes once or twice and then never goes again, or she makes an appointment to go, and then it's a phone appointment, and then she slept through it, and then. So changing is harder than staying the same, you know. I mean, she's fine. She'll take the immobility. She'll take the pity relationships. She'll take having to buy stuff to make up for the fact that she feels inferior because she's 5'1" and 400 pounds, and will pay for everything, including friends, transportation, and men, to make herself feel like those things would have happened to her naturally, that she just, of course, would have met a person. Yes, NyQuil, or reads a book. I read this book, I looked online, and she would just Google something and then put it up in like a community post. Too lazy for therapy. Yes, Sandra, therapy is supposed to be work. So therapy is beyond going in and you whine about how hard your life was and they give you tissues and you go home. Like, Mark and I were together 9 years before we got married. 2 years in, things got a little rocky. You know what we did? We went to couples therapy. You know who wanted to go? Neither of us. But we loved each other and we liked our relationship and we wanted to see what we could live with. And we talked about things like relationship priorities and goals going forward, the kind of thing. It gave us a space to do all that talking. And we had homework too. We'd be sent home with, like, what was our first one? How to have a check-in. So every night before we would settle down, watch a show, eat dinner, and go to bed, we would just check in for 5 minutes. How are you doing? How was your day? How are you feeling today? Anything I can do for you? If there's anything I can think you do for me, I'll let you know. That kind of stuff. And we did it like every day for a while. And then we were in therapy for, a year and a half. And then we were doing well, and we invited our therapist to the wedding. So it does work. And I got a lot of problems. I've had a lot of problems along the way, but I've also had a lot of therapy. So I'm not confused about whether or not I have a problem that actually exists. I do. And I've had enough treatment to get some coping skills to live with it. Add that to regular stuff like friends. I always think, like, Chantal's making all this money to share with who? All of her friends? She's got to find someone to spoil because, frankly, she'd have no one else to spend it on. She doesn't function during business hours. She's only up 7 to 7. Yeah, she needs a graveyard shift therapist. That's why she ends up at the ER. Because she goes crazy in the middle of the night when it's inconvenient and then goes sit in the ER till daylight just for them to tell you it's not chest pain. It was probably a panic attack. Here's that Ativan you've asked for 4 hours. Go home. So, our poor dear girl. Our poor dear girl. Coffee, if you'll indulge me for a moment. So, community post diatribe. So, Chantal had a long community post. Long. Flip it that way. Long. And she was going on. It was the regular whining at Nancy. As a friend says, she has 0 social skills, 0 life skills, 0 marketable skills. She thinks eating on camera will sustain her and her clock is ticking. Thank you, Nancy, and I agree. I absolutely agree. It is going to start ticking. The time's going to get away from her, and it's going to be a point where there's too much to turn around. We watched Life by Jen die. Bite by bite. And why should she think she's so special? Chantal is not super person. She gets the kind of invincibility of someone who's profoundly manic. That there's consequences that matter to other people won't happen to her. That other people's things won't happen to her. That she's her own person living her own life. And she's so terminally unique that she's too damn special to get better. It's just easy for all of us to understand that she's sick. So she's not interested in therapy or change. She's interested in other people changing their minds, which she thinks these community posts or videos are going to do. There is nothing likable about I could give it to my dad. I could give it to, though they know who she is. Anybody who doesn't know anything about anything, and they would say, what obnoxious person wrote all this, and why did they feel compelled to? Put your money where your mouth is. Make a video. You want to make $200? Make a video about how you're a victim of this. Put it on the community post just to... She's talking to herself. I get that she's mad. Does she deserve to be? Does she have a right to be? I don't know. But Um, ugh, ugh. So again, I think I said last week, the people who come after Chantal, not just react, have videos, all the stuff within TOS, they're responsible for everything they do and say, and YouTube will hold them responsible for things they do or say. But that applies to Chantal too. I think she thinks only other people make mistakes and not her. Gelga, hello! The cats suffered for those hours. Those cats. And I probably wouldn't feel as... She's living her karma, Andy. I probably wouldn't feel as compelled to feel about the cat stuff, but I am a cat owner, and as of late, a cat lover. I never had one, never thought I wanted one. I thought I was allergic, so we never had one growing up. And the relationship, it's a relationship that I have with both of them, is nothing I would trade. I couldn't imagine having to give them away. But, I mean, call me... Say my priorities are bad, you can, but I would probably try to craft a life going forward where I could include them with it. Can't think of a goal I have that would make me go, I can only do this if I get rid of the cats. Okay, bye. Bye, guys. We'll see you later. I can't imagine doing that. But if you have any real feeling or emotion, you would. If you had anything sincere in your heart about the relationship and the love you might have had for your pet, and just to hand it away, do no research. And then this is what happens when we don't do research, and then blamed the person who got it from her for taking care of the animal she didn't want anymore. It's the same thing. Julia is the same thing. The cat's a prop. The cat's just meant to make other people feel some sort of way. I don't know how that thing was doing okay for the 6 weeks. And come to light that she didn't take care of it the way she said. She lied. Didn't change her. She changed her mind about telling the truth, maybe. We can put it that way. She lied about the cat's health. And again, I said, we have a cat, but you don't, if you're going to bring it in and take care of it, you got to bring it in and take care of it. You think if they need to move, she wouldn't just drop it back on the street? She doesn't have any friends, and she's driven away his family, so who the hell's going to help? Things because more subs. She thinks she can get away with things because she has more subs. This is true. I would love, when we just hit 1,000 or 2,000 subs, YouTube had done a run, which I guess they do in a while, where they clean out dead accounts, closed accounts, and close them out of your subscriber total. And I think at the time that we had 1,000 subs, we lost 30 of them because they were dead, because they were dead. Yeah, you can have 100,000 subscribers, but if only, a handful of people are watching, then you're going to be monetizing 120 view videos, wondering, why am I not making 200 a video? Because 10,000 people watched and, and they clicked off after the first 3 ads in the first 8 minutes. That basically says F you. Now, again, no angel here, but people do things differently. Some of our videos are quite longer than Chantal's. She does live streams that are longer than ours, but by and large, we go on a little bit further than her. We talk a little bit more than her. But if I have a 40-minute video or a replay of a live, if I put in as many ads as she did, there would be 15 to 20 ads in a 60-minute video. I concede that we do want to be compensated for our time. Mark and I love doing YouTube, and a lot of other people do. But if you can have it both ways, make some money, and get to share the things that are important to you and do stuff, then that's okay. But I would probably put, 3 ads in a 45-minute video. Call it foolish. But you want to get back a little bit of what you put into it time-wise, so that it's worth it to keep doing, so that it's worth it. But I can't see putting in that many ads. The only time that happens, if we close this live, and thank you for coming if you leave, but we're not. We have another 20 minutes. If I were to close this live, not put it back up, nothing, and wait for you to monetize it, but it's still being held for review, when the review says none, YouTube places the ads into the replay of the live where it thinks it will make the most money. So YouTube will spit out a pre-done live stream with 20 ads in over there. I have to go in and delete every 4. I tried to space them out because, especially for longer videos, it's a lot. It probably doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot to ask someone to stop on your channel for more than 1 second. So asking them to stare down the barrel of a 40-minute video isn't necessarily the kind of content that's going to bring a lot of people in. So I unsubscribed for her almost a year ago and only watched the reactors. I watch a mix. I still watch some of her content. I'll give her a nickel. I don't care. But I want to be able to get it fresh from her without too much interference. So, love the background? Thank you. This is SmokeySteveAndMarc. Stay tuned. It's going to be a busy weekend there as well. So remember, there's no live tomorrow. So this will be the live, I guess, for the week, because tomorrow we have something else coming out. And then we're going into Halloween. So, Beauty got BB. She changed Casey's name to BBJ. BB. Poor BB. Poor nothing. He made his choices too. So, make sure my ads aren't too bad, but it's like usually yours on replay during the night. Well, I appreciate that. A lot of people do. They'll hit play all and just run down a list, which our playlists aren't too bad. I've been throwing them into the end cards just so people can take a look at like what other stuff might be up, what else we're doing, because we do live coffee talk and regular coffee talk, but I've been talking about Foodie Beauty 50 times a week for 3 years. There's a lot of videos on there about her. And I'm probably due to go in and clean a bunch of that crap up from there, but there's a lot of content. And there was a lot of content I made for free about her, just because, back to square one, Chantal has some of the issues that I have. And I've handled them differently, obviously, but a lot of times when I see her, I see me. I know there's a lot of people that say, I can't see that at all. Well, I was there. And I can see what she's thinking. I can see what she's trying to do. And it's scummy. It's very scummy. But she still thinks she's very good at it, even though she's getting sloppy. Which means it'll come to a head at some point. But if I were her, I wouldn't drop my ass back in Canada either. I'm never going back to Canada. Are you allowed? Did you have to like renounce your citizenship to leave the country and get a flat zero bill on the taxes? Or was there some sort of other arrangement made? Yeah, BB gnawed through the restraints and got out. And then she left all her shit there. It was just like Natters. She left all her shit there so she'd have reasons to go back, and then solicited him one of the times for sex. So, good weekend going for Halloween. Looking forward to it. Good stuff. I hope everyone's safe, but has a lot of freaking fun this Halloween. You know, get it in, have a good time, be responsible, but while out. So, let me see. Where did we get to now? I don't know what bothers me more, honestly. If it's, her getting the cats and just leaving them alone or just giving them away. Like, 6 weeks is a long time for the pet to be alone. And nobody was sleeping in their place. Someone probably came over just to feed for a while. Now, my parents cover for Oscar and Bandit if Mark and I are out of town, and they'll come down once a day, scoop the box, put some food out, fill up the bowls, water, all that stuff. But it's usually for like maybe 3 days or so. It's not for a long time. If it needs to be longer, like when our building was condemned and we had to move on like an hour's notice, we arranged for my parents to take care of them, because that's too long for them to be, they had nowhere to go, and it's too long to be in a hotel. I'm not even sure if they allowed them anyway. I don't think they did. And we made other arrangements that were better for the long term, better for a few weeks. You know, our place wasn't falling down, but we couldn't leave the cat there in a condemned building. I mean, my God, what were we going to do? So my parents worked, but like, we accounted for that. And when we were looking for a place to stay, we were accounting for the pact. Like, we were living in a hotel looking for a place to rent. And if they didn't take cats, we didn't go. So use that to measure how much I like them. I don't know. But I wouldn't have picked a new apartment if it meant having to get rid of the cats. I'll move back in with my parents, if they'll let me. That would be the second or third time I did. I leave my cats 3-day max. Yeah, Sandra, that's about what we do. Just not very long. And usually we'll handle them the day we leave and then the day we get back. So if we're asking them to watch them for 4 days, it's like 3 nights instead. And they're happy to help. You know, we're lucky in that way. But if you can't find someone to feed or look after your cat, especially a cat you don't care much about, then don't get another freaking cat. It's so selfish. It is so selfish. And there's no explaining anything around it. And then if you bring it up to her, all of a sudden, French fry girl stole it and I'm pressing charges. And it's going to be, and she'll be mad. Then they'll be sorry. If you're never going to Canada, what are you going to do? Send an email from Kuwait that someone tricked you out of a cat you didn't want? If you weren't so eager to get rid of it, you would have looked a little further into it. It is your fault. Sorry, bitch. Stay mad. So, and you see how hard she fought to get them back, too. So, she already had a plan for a life that did not involve... Janet, you know, the audience lost interest, honestly. So, we do that with a lot of our content. We've tried some other stuff. Remember Wacky Wednesdays? That didn't really get off the ground. So we did it for a while and then it stopped. But there was audience fatigue and frankly creator fatigue, and it was just, she was giddy when she gave BBJ away. Yeah, and she didn't go down, so she'd be able to say, oh, Pete's did it, I didn't see. She probably suspected as much, but thought who would really go to that length to do it, because she's paranoid. She thinks everyone thinks about her all the time. Because she watches a handful of channels that talk about her. Not all day, but a lot. If you put up a 1-hour video 2 days a week, you're obsessed with her. You don't know much about obsession, do you? Or maybe you do. Break in, hide in the closet, blast music sitting outside. You know. So, boycotts her last fast food meal, which is not going to be her last, of course. She will have other ones. But it was supposed to be her last fast food meal. And it was Taco Bell. For more than one. I think she thinks if you can eat it by yourself, it serves one. That's not the way it goes, I think. Just because you can eat a tub of ice cream in one sitting doesn't mean it serves one person. So, the last fast food meal. And now she's taken to this new tact of leaving a few bites on the plate. Just a couple, 2-3 bites on the plate. So it looks like she daintily didn't finish her dinner. We'll see. We'll see. My last bowl of ice cream, my last this, yeah, my last that. It's good to have goals, and a little bit of self-deprecation can build a little, character, I suppose. But, I don't know. Of course it was going to be a local viewer. I don't know. It's, like I said, if she didn't want it to happen, she should have done what she said she was going to do and looked into it. All she basically figured out is that she's a sucker who, when she found out she was a sucker, didn't pursue the thing that was stolen. She wants consequences, but not the cat back. So, French fry girl picking up BBJ. Catnapper. If you don't get it right, you remember, of course, if you don't get here right now, I'm calling the police. You have until tonight to get up here and give me back my... She would have just given it away again. She didn't care. That's why she gave it away. So... all this false of French fry girl did this and my cat looks terrible. You gave it to a stranger and lied about looking into it. And then got jammed up in it and blamed everybody else in the world. I bet you guys really like seeing me like this right now. No, not particularly. I mean, maybe a little. But, when someone's kind of self-important and selfish and obnoxious about it, to see him get knocked down a peg or two and see him squirm is a little satisfying. But that's the time the comments go off, and that's when the likes go off, and all that other stuff. I'm kind of like, French fry girl, I don't watch her unless there's some extreme thing between her and Foodie Beauty that I need to watch the video of. No hate, no love. Just, I talk enough about Chantal. I don't want to listen to other people doing it for a long time either. It's not good for any of us, really. She'll never get over it, Julia. She will never get over it. She won't. It'll be forever. Forever it'll stick in her head, and she won't let it go. She'll be making mukbangs in the year 2030 and still be talking about it. Who knows? Maybe by then she'll be healthy or whatever the other alternative is to that. So she won't get over the cat. She won't get over it. She just won't. And I have to say, as far as the heavy community goes, I was sorry to hear French fry girl is kind of, or not French fry girl, Hungry Fat Chick has kind of thrown in the towel at the moment. It's a little discouraging to see. But not everyone who would be a great role model is. It's, she was losing weight and doing good and inspiring people, but that doesn't mean, that she's worthless of a person if she's not losing weight. But it's hard because you can look at her. She's a big girl, and she eats a lot. 1 + 2 = 3. So the fact that she kind of threw in the trying to eat healthy and go back to it, I hate to think it's money, but for as much as people say, people would really watch Chantal's channel if she went on a good health journey. No, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't. I don't think so. Or else it would have happened by now. It would have happened by now. She gets more views and action on breaking promises, canceling things, trolling people than she does on anything else like that. Yeah, she made her money off eating and the content wasn't paying. And that's what happens with Chantal. We were going to have a cooking video. We're going to have a couples channel. The only place it seems to come out is like on Foodie Beauty and it's food related content. For any new viewer, you would think that Salo is just a myth. He's like Bigfoot. Nobody's seen him. She just claims to. So that goes. So going forward, I kind of think there's going to be some activity with the with a couple of her videos when it comes to her being demonetized. And again, her trees that she's barking up here, no one's saying you can't eat yourself to death. They're just saying you can't sell it. And if you feel that that's discrimination, walk into a court with a straight face and tell everyone what your position is and see what popular reaction is. Just check that out. Going into next week, well, more fast food. She'll be eating. You know, she makes dubious noises. Yes, there. I'm familiar with that. Chantal makes the noises too. It's like that Harry Met Sally scene in the deli where she's like having one. You know, kind of like that. Ooh, delicious. Oh my God, so good. And for her being foodie by name and a foodie by trade, according to her, she has like the shittiest, most pedestrian taste in food. I don't eat fine food all the time, but I don't live on white bread and cheese whiz. The woman lives on carbs and fat for the most part. I mean, she's going to eat enough rice to bury herself at this point. So she's all about male attention only. Chantal, I can't think of the last man she had a big problem with, at least as far as reactors. I remember when Zachary Michael had a very small channel. When I joined 4,000. He had 4,000 subscribers when I subscribed to Zachary Michael. And using all of Chantal's measures, these people are more successful and happier than her. When she insists that because she has a large audience that she's happy, and that she has a husband so she's happy, and she has this so she's happy, and this, she doesn't have to say it so much if you could see it. You know, everything that happens is off camera. Solid, it's off camera. I'm a different person now. I'm far more private. It's not going to pay off. Modest Miriam is not going to make the money of fupa balls running bald through her room, okay? If you want to be rich, you have to be a different kind of spectacle. I know you're a spectacle now, but you have to be a different kind of spectacle. If you're going to go back the whole, Nikocado avocado route and like sniff and twitch and ride a jazzy and bark at yourself, then, go do that. But do not pretend to take the high road. I don't think that that's reasonable. I think it's transparent. I think the holier than thou stuff, a lot of people see through. And I'm sorry, but I don't really believe it either. I used to. I had quite a bit of hope for this woman. I said she would be the biggest turnaround story on YouTube. And that was before Hungry Fat Chick started doing her thing. But I had more hopes for Chantal than Amber Lynn, honestly. And when I first started watching both of those channels, I stopped watching Amber Lynn after a while because I don't care what happens to her. She's not interesting. I don't care. I don't care what she does. If she wants to have 5 girlfriends and they all wipe her ass, I don't care. It's none of my thing. Chantal, though, because I see a bit of myself, draws me in a little closer. And probably like most people, if I see something ugly in her that either is or was a little ugly in me, it resonates a bit. But change isn't something Chantal's good at. Quick change. Like, I'm Muslim now. That's a quick change. Very quick change. I'm going to be a Muslim, and I'm going to move, and I'm going to cover my hair, I'm going to cover my face. Has nothing to do with the fact that I'm probably wanted in my own country for tax evasion. And she's never going back to Canada. I think she's probably afraid she'll be, stopped at the airport. Now, the amount of money she didn't pay in taxes is probably a pretty big deal, but I mean, she's not a mafia boss. I don't think people are tracking her so closely just for an activity like that. So go back and watch your videos from 2 and 3 years ago on her. I was much more supportive, and I'm not now. Everyone needs cheerleaders. If she's ever going to get well, one of these tries will be the try. One of these times will be the time. And I used to always, every time she pulled out of her ass that she was going to go on a diet or wellness or something again, I'd be like, good, I hope it works out for her. And I do. But she manipulates sympathy she receives for an illness that she only has off camera. She wants all the benefits of a disability without being too disabled to do something. So you're supposed to feel bad and you're supposed to blah, blah, blah for her. Because look how hard she has it. And then says we're all jealous. I can get off the floor without using my arms. Okay? No one counts how much food I eat because I didn't interest them in that. I didn't sell it. So it's a little bit different. But going into next week, more eating. What time of month is it now? We're past the 21st. She's going to try to front load the rest of the month because November's check is the one, you get month before Christmas. That Christmas check comes the 21st. You only have 3 days to shop real fast. So if you want to have a bright Christmas, you got to start now with the bullshit to try to get views up so that you can hopefully bring in enough. She'll do Christmas. She did Halloween. I didn't look up Muslim Halloween traditions. I think she should put up a community post with some references and about how it's perceived among those in her faith, her alleged faith, her fake faith, the costume she wears. So, and we will I guess we'll just leave it there. So thank you all for joining tonight. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, moderators. I know it was a little bit short notice, so I appreciate you guys showing up. Lurkers, I see you. I see you in the back. Thank you for coming too. So we're going to pick up next week. We'll see. Video live. Might be another live. We'll see. I hope this is working okay for you guys. It's working out in the schedule now to have at least half and half lives and videos recorded, because I like the recorded videos and they're popular too. But in the interest of staying in the loop, given my current life off camera, some things had to be adjusted. So thank you all for being here, and thank you all for watching. Please hit the thumbs up on your way out, if you'd be so kind. Hit the subscribe button and hit the alarm. You'll get alerts when we have new videos and go live. We're on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc, Twitter at SmokeySteveA, and Instagram SmokeySteveAndMarc, one word. All of our email and contact stuff's below. Do look after yourselves. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. Have a great week next week. And enjoy. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.